That's a great way to open the stream. uh, got you singing on stream. Anyway, welcome back to another Shadowlands beta live stream. Continuing on from the one that I had to stop earlier due to technical issues. So I'm back. I may or may not have had a drink, may or may not be tired, may or may not be up for this. But either way, I'm here. So we're doing it. Mage and Shaman. Possibly. We'll see. We'll see. If Mage drains my soul, then I don't know. Cass, what's up? Thanks for tuning in again. Lost, how you doing? All right, so we're continuing on with the testing here. We only got 3 classes left. We got Mage, Shaman, and Priest. Everything else has been looked at. And then, please ignore her. Okay. So I need to make a mage, and then we're going to jump in and check out these mage specs and see what's up. So let's do, I was thinking about making my mage a dark iron dwarf. So let's see. Let's change. Let's go with that. I'm getting picky. This is the actual name I have saved for a fire mage. So we'll see. We'll see if I like it or not. All right, so like usual, what I'm going to be doing here is going out into the open world and trying to test builds that feel good out in the open world, questing, leveling, world quests, all that kind of good stuff. That is what we were taking a look at. But before we go out into the open world, we're going to go and see if we can snag ourselves some legendaries to possibly test out as well. I've been less into testing the legendaries lately. I don't know. They have to really do something weird, or I just haven't really cared about testing them. We are currently fire spec, so we'll jump in for fire spec as well. Shocking. I'm going to Karen. That Karen what? Cool. So let's get in here. Let's get our materials. Let's see what kind of legendaries we have for mage, and if anything is going to be interesting, or if it's all going to be boring mathy stuff. All right. What do you got? Rune Carver. Okay, Fireball, Frostball, Arcane have a chance to guarantee you expanded potential, which causes your next hot streak, brains freeze, or clear casting not be consumed. That could be pretty cool. No. 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 Alright, so we want expanded potential. This says a low chance, so I'm not going to bother with that. Molten Skyfall. That could be cool. Okay, so let's grab a couple of these. Not those. I love the like screaming in the background. I do want to just try this. Like, I don't think it's gonna be good. Oh, I've got to get my mats out of the bag. It offends me. Okay, so that was the neck piece, I think. Yeah. All right. So let's try this. Just for fun. Maybe we'll try it. Oh, what? What? Nice. That is easier than going to the bag. I didn't realize I could do that. Nah. Actually has a chance. I just don't want to mess with that. I do want to try this one. I think these were the only two I wanted to try. Let's double check. Sun King's Blessing. Yeah, that's it. All right, so let's go out and change to a different spec. Come back in and see if they have any legendaries that we want to grab. I'm sure some of these legendaries are going to be good in general, but I'm just kind of trying to look at the fun ones that really seem like they're going to shake up gameplay. Mega Karen. I'm actually interested to see what we can do with talents for mage. It's been a while since I played around with mage talents, and it's been interesting to do this testing and kind of find that some of the builds that I don't like in BFA I actually do like in Shadowlands. Okay, so okay, I want to get bombardment. Yeah, let's just get bombardment. There we go. And then we'll go out and we'll do frost. There's like a little lag on the animation there, like when you're leaving the jailer, it does this little camera movement and you can't turn your camera. And it does that in a couple other places too, and it's kind of frustrating. I think it does it when you... Is it when you pick an anima power? I can't remember. There's a couple of moments where it frequently will just like take control of your camera to do like a little pan, and you can't like start rotating your camera to turn around. I'll show you guys when I leave this time. But I've noticed it in a few places, and it's kind of annoying. Because I just want to hit escape and go, but it's like it locks you in for like 2 seconds before you can do anything. I'm going to point it out. They're not going to change it. It's going to drive you nuts when you actually play. Okay, so what do we have? Okay, it looks like it put them all up here. I want to try Slick Ice. Meh. I think just Slick Ice for right now. How do the shoes not have Slick Ice? Come on. There we go. All right, so we're going to head out to Ardenweald, to our little Panther spot, and I think we're going to start testing with Fire Mage because it's the one I'm the most familiar with and the one I think I'm going to get to experiment with the least. Or, like, I think the other ones I'm going to want to try to mess with a little bit more, but we'll see how it goes. Haroon, how's it going? It's going pretty good. I'm a little bit late here, but fortunately, I don't have to go to work till super late tomorrow. And then I'm off on Saturday. So, all sorts of testing coming up. I mentioned this in the last stream earlier today, but they've patched in. They released a new patch for the beta on Wednesday. And now Torghast is unlocked account wide, and since I've already done the intro quests on my Paladin, I can now just jump in with any class, go straight to Torghast, and start, playing. Go through some floors, check out some powers. So I think that might be what I do next. I'm thinking like 5 floors, 5 floors per class, maybe? I don't think I want to do like 5 floors per specialization is probably overdoing it. We don't need remove curse, and I'm not worried about spell steal, so we'll do those. Turn the sound back on. All right, let's go. I know we can slow fall our way over. Maybe. We can try. Boop. I was like, am I going to hit it in time? I don't know. I think I like the Dark Iron Dwarf better as a Death Knight. Oddly enough. I think they're cooler when they have the glowy Death Knight eyes. Alright, let's do it. So let's go over to fire, check things out. So we've got some spells and abilities that are across the board available to all mages now. We've got Frostbolt available, as well as where to go? Arcane Explosion. That one is in there. And I think we also have Fire Blast available to all specializations, but because it's a big part of fire, it's in the fire kit. Along with that, we have this Alter Time, instant 1-minute cooldown. Returns you to your current location and health when cast a second time or after 10 seconds. Kind of interesting there. We've also got Frost Nova, most of our other stuff here. But yeah, they added in like one extra spell and then 1 spell per specialization. When we go over to fire, we've got mostly the same stuff here. So Cauterize, fatal damage brings you to 35% health, blah, blah, blah. That's the same. Critical Mass, our spells have increased crit, and we gain more crit. And then we have Hot Streak, which is the main thing that we're doing on fire. If we get 2 criticals in a row, then our next Pyroblast or Flame Strike is instant cast and has double the chance to ignite. And then our Mastery is Ignite. So if we hit with one of our fire abilities, we put a burn on the target. And now they've changed it up. We have Phoenix Flames baseline for fire. So that's really nice. I always like this ability. And now we have it baseline. And if you want to spread your ignites, you do it manually with Phoenix Flames now, which is pretty sweet. And also, Phoenix Flames always deals a critical strike. So now you have 3 charges of Phoenix Flames, plus a couple of charges of Fire Blast, depending on your talents, to help you activate hot streaks much quicker. We also, I think, have a couple extra ranks on some of our abilities. So our Fire Blast is going to, it says castable while casting other spells, always deals a critical strike. And our Fireball says each time your Fireball fails to critically strike a target, it gains a stacking 10% increased critical strike chance. Effect ends when Fireball critically strikes. So we're basically doing the same things we were before, right? So we can kind of like open with a Fireball, and if we get a crit, we can Fire Blast into a Pyroblast. We've got the Ignite on there, and if we want to spread it, we can use Phoenix Flames. Or if we just want to guarantee crit for whatever reason, we can use Phoenix Flames. And that's all we're doing. So here, same deal. And we could Phoenix Flames if we wanted to, or whatever we want to do. So rotation, basically the same. We've still got Scorch. We've still got Dragon's Breath. We've still got our Barrier. And that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot has changed in terms of the like base abilities that we have access to. So where it really gets changed up is with our talents. So we can just jump right into talents here. And this is why I wanted to start with fire. Because, you know, like I said, this is the spec I play 90% of the time on mage. So on 15, we got Firestarter. Your Fireball and Pyroblast spells always deal a critical strike when the target is above 90% health. I do like this one because it helps you get into Hot Streak really quick, especially good in open world content where you're just going from like enemy to enemy to enemy. We got Pyromaniac, casting Pyroblast or Flame Strike while Hot Streak's active, has an 8% chance to instantly reactivate it. Searing Touch. This makes Scorch deal increased damage and a guaranteed crit when the target's below 30% health. So it's kind of like the opposite of Firestarter. So with Firestarter, you're like, I get a guaranteed crit on open. And with Searing Touch, it's like, okay, I kind of have this execute ability with a guaranteed crit that could lead me into the next target. But our Scorch does 171 fire damage. So even getting a crit on it is, I don't know, not great. It deals 150% more damage and is a guaranteed crit. That still is kind of, we could try it out. I think we can try it out. On 25, we got Blazing Soul. Casting Blink ignites a blazing barrier. Or we have Shimmer, which I prefer. And then we have Blast Wave. On 30, we've got Incanter's Flow, which is the thing that builds up a buff and then brings it back down. We got Focus Magic and Rune of Power. These are both instant cast abilities that I just prefer to keep Incanter's Flow. Yo, it's 6 a.m. What's up, Andy? It is like midnight here, so haven't slept. Can you tell? I've been up since 5 a.m. yesterday. So I'm coming up on 24 hours of... 24? Yeah, 24 hours of no sleep. So, usually like to keep Incanter's Flow. On 35, we got Flame On, reduces the cooldown of Fire Blast and adds an extra charge. That's why we've got 3 instead of 2. We've got Alexstrasza's Fury, Dragon's Breath, always critical strikes and contributes to Hot Streak. Additionally, the damage done by your next Pyroblast or Flame Strike is increased. I actually do kind of like taking this one. Dragon's Breath has an 18-second cooldown. It's really nice on Fire Mage in open world content because if you're casting it with Alexstrasza's Fury, then you get a critical strike and it'll boost your next Pyroblast, but you also get that nice crowd control disorient ability, which just feels pretty good. Obviously not as like consistent and on demand as Fire Blast. You still have to wait for this 18-second cooldown, and this isn't giving you like extra charges or anything. But sometimes I think, especially early on before you've got like a decent amount of gear that is kind of helping you to kill things faster, sometimes it's nice to pick this up. We got Coming Soon talent. I believe this is where Phoenix Flames was, and we're waiting on a replacement. Invoker says, hi, can you test Pyroclasm with sunken legendaries? Maybe? You mean the Sun King? Oh, Sun King. Gotcha. Did I grab the Sun King legendary? I don't know if I did. But if I did, sure. If I didn't, then maybe on a different stream when I go over all the legendaries. Right now, I'm just grabbing legendaries that I think look fun. I'm not testing every single legendary because they're still putting a bunch of them into the game. So they're kind of very subject to change at the moment. 40, we've got Scorch increases your movement speed. We've got Frost Nova has 2 charges, and we got Ring of Frost. I usually like to pick up Frost Nova has 2 charges just for the extra defense. 45, we got Flame Patch. Flame Strike leaves behind a patch of flames. We got Conflagration. Fireball applies Conflagration, which deals fire damage over 8 seconds. And enemies affected by Conflagration or Ignite have a 10% chance to flare up and deal 65 fire damage to nearby enemies. Or we have Living Bomb. Generally, I like to pick up Living Bomb because I don't find myself casting Flame Strike super often. And Conflagration, you kind of lose control of your ignites there. But Living Bomb is like an on-command thing that you can cast. So I don't mind Living Bomb. This talent line to me, this tier is kind of whatever. And then 50, we've got Kindling. Our critical strikes will reduce the remaining cooldown on combustion. So if you're using a lot of combustion, then that is going to get that down pretty quickly so you can continue to use it over and over again. We got Pyroclasm. So consuming Hot Streak has a 15% chance to make your next non-instant Pyro Blast cast within 15 seconds deal 240% additional damage, max at 2 stacks. And then we also have Meteor. Usually I pick up Meteor, but I'm kind of testing out some other stuff here today. So I think we will probably test out most of the things on this bottom row before everything's all said and done. So let's make a couple changes here. Like I said, I do like Firestarter. I kind of want to try Searing Touch. And let's see. So Searing Touch, Scorches, and Execute. So let's pick up... Let's keep Fire Blast for right now. Let's grab... Let's grab Living Bomb. And let's keep... Let's just go with the active abilities for right now. So we'll add in our Living Bomb and our Meteor. So now we're just screwing around here, but basically we're not going to get the guaranteed crit with Fireball. So we're going to want to like Fireball and then maybe like Fire Blast if we don't get a crit off Fireball. Get the target down and then use Searing Touch. We want to throw out a Living Bomb. Just to get that charge going. And we're just going to see, like, how garbage this feels, really. All right, so no crit. Throw out a Living Bomb. So we want the target to be below 35%. Is that going to make Scorch? Scorch does not flash. It hit for 1,000. That's not terrible. Okay. Oh, wow. You can have one of those as a pet? That's kind of cool. It's pretty big. Alright, so it's doing like 138 non-crit, 377, 1,000. Okay, so at this point, Scorch is hitting for like 1,000 as an execute. That's not too bad. Let's make some food. I am not going to be using my rotation to avoid damage here, so we're just gonna have to eat to get it back. How are you able to function, let alone play WoW? That's impressive. And yes, Fire Mage, dude. I don't know. This is just what I do. I like to get into the like mathy, nerdy testing stuff. It's really not that hard to get on here and test things and play WoW. It's a little bit harder to do it and not sound like a mindless zombie on stream. That's the bigger challenge. So I just hope that you guys that are here watching are also zombies, and we're just being zombies together, nerding out over World of Warcraft. Let's make some changes to these talents real quick. Take coming soon for level 35. It's OP. Yeah, it's actually my favorite talent, but yeah, I don't know. We've got that on Rogue as well. It's actually, this is a talent that's shared among several classes. It's like the first time Blizzard's done something like this, where a couple different classes have this same talent. And it's pretty interesting. It's gonna be cool to see how it stacks up in like raids and stuff when you can have like 40 people with the same talent. It's gonna be a little bit nuts. Big Mac, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Cass says she's a zombie. Take pyroclasm. Makes hit. Yeah, we're gonna take pyroclasm. I didn't really test out meteor. I don't want to see how chunky meteor is now with the level squish. Hey, did I just whiffed? Man, meteor is so chunky when you totally miss. Man, why does fireball feel like it just hits like a wet noodle? Good job. Andy says it's truly innovative. Yeah, they're finally doing something new, man. Shadowlands is the time for new stuff. So they're going all out. They're like, class identity? We'll just make all the classes the same. Here, you can all have this talent. Okay, let's try to maybe meteor, you know, actually like meteor something. Well, if you're gonna come over, you come over too. And I'll meteor both of you. Not as nice as I had hoped it would be. I'm gonna die. Oh, I'm gonna scorch this thing to death. Shadowy rabbit's foot. Optional crafting reagent. Slightly increased move speed. Oh, I haven't even looked at professions. He's a trucker at heart. Man. Okay, yep. Let's mess up. I'm not feeling like having these extra buttons right now. So yeah, let's change some stuff up here. Let's grab pyroclasm. Let's grab conflagrate. I want to do Alex Strauss's Fury. I do like having Scorch as an execute, but I also really like having a guaranteed crit on the target above 90% health. We're gonna do this. Okay, so Pyroblaster Flame Strike, while Hot Streak is active, has an 8% chance, which we know that 8% is pretty often, judging by how often we get things with 10%. Actually, I'm just not going to take that. Let's keep the Scorch Critical Strike. Okay, so we have that. We've got Guaranteed Critical from Dragon's Breath. Now Fireball is going to apply Conflagration, and if we consume Hot Streak, we have a 15% chance to make our next non-instant Pyroblast deal a buttload of damage. Alright, so let's go out. Crit. Crit. Okay, we did not get it that time. We can Dragon's Breath. Scorch. Oh, did we get it? And we got Hot Streak. Okay. Now we got it. Okay, sweet. Let's just cast it. I like the flow of this better anyway. I need to start using my shield. I'm just gonna die. Oh. Phoenix Flames. Okay. That feels better. I don't know about Pyroclasm. It's not coming up as much as I want it to. But it did hit for like over 4K, which is pretty ridiculous. That's actually... if the proc is about a minute or 2 minutes, like once every minute or two or something like that, that's not that terrible. Okay. I like having Dragon's Breath on the crit. I think I'm still not convinced about Scorch over the guaranteed like Fireball critical. So like we Fireball, got a crit, boom, go into that, do another Fireball, get something close with Dragon's Breath. We got Scorch for a crit. We got boom, boom. We got Pyroclasm. Does it count for this one or does it not? It did not. So we have to like hit that thing right away. Oof. Okay. So we get Dragon's Breath back pretty quick, actually. And then at this point, we just Scorch. And we get a guaranteed crit. Boom. Oh. We're actually getting a fair amount of hot streaks this way. And I'm not even using Phoenix Flames. And we want to Scorch. Really? Ah. Lost it. Okay, so now we Pyroblast. And if we got anything left, we Scorch, but we didn't. That's not too bad, actually. So Fireball, and if we get a crit, sweet. If we don't, too bad. Do whatever we need to. Get some of these. Dragon's Breath. Scorch. I need like a weak aura for that. Yeah, that's got a nice flow of hot streaks to it. Let's see. When you proc, use Breath and cast Pyro from Pyroclasm. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like if I'm actively engaged. Okay, I'll see if I can work that in. That's impressive. He's been awake for 24 hours, took you out on a date, and is now streaming. Oh, yeah. We did go on a date. We went to a bar, and I may have had a little bit of a drink. Not much. So we can add that to the mix. Okay, let's do that. Still didn't get it. Scorch. Phoenix Flames. Still didn't get it. Fireball. Yeah, I should have cast. Should have cast an instant pyro there instead. Fireball, flames, flames. Didn't get it. Okay. Man, just not hitting it as much as I would have hoped. That burn damage, I'm like, he's gonna die from burn damage, right? No, apparently not. Still didn't get it. Oh, now we got it. Oh, I don't have I I don't have Dragon's Breath. I got Shimmer though. That'll do it. Oof. I like this build. I mean, the amount of stuff I'm able to kill without using any defensive abilities or having to like stop constantly to eat is not actually too bad for Fire Mage. And I mean, like I said, I'm not even like using all my abilities and stuff. I think I do like having Scorch as kind of an execute. It's nice being able to like roll in at the end of combat with a critical strike that's guaranteed, because I don't know, at the start of combat, like I feel like I have my Fire Blast charges and I can just boom boom and that's good to go. But also like adding Alexstrasza's Fury into the mix and just constantly using Dragon's Breath all the time, I think that helps quite a bit too. I just feel like more burn would be nice. Yeah, so just like more mastery and more crit. For more burns and more hot streaks. Also, I can function until 27 to 28 hours. When I was a teenager, I could stay up for days. I'm 27 now, so it's getting more difficult. I can last up to about 20 hours, then I'm basically dead. That's only going to get worse, man. I don't know how old you think I am, but I'm older than you. And it doesn't get any better. Definitely doesn't. Also says, I hear you. My average workday is 13 hours. It helps to stay up a long time. Yeah, so I kind of like this. I think I could tweak some things with this build, but overall, I think it's not too bad. Let's try, what do we have for legendaries? What did I get? Casting a barrier spell, that's just a weird one to try. Arcane Barrage. And then I did get the 6 Hot Streaks one. And then Frost. Okay, so let's try this one. After consuming 6 Hot Streaks, your next non-instant Pyroblast cast within 15 seconds grants you combustion for 6 seconds. So, let's figure out what the heck is going to go on with this. Alright. So that's 1 Hot Streak. Two Hot Streaks. Three Hot Streaks, I think. 4 Hot Streaks. 5 Hot Streaks. 6 Hot Streaks. So, yeah. Now, if only we could get this. Oh, we did not get. We didn't get Palm Pyro. Or not Palm Pyro, man. My coworkers got me living in the past. No, he evaded. Yeah, we didn't get the combo there of Pyroclasm and the nice little buff from the legendary. Okay, we're building up a combustion, but we need to consume 2 Hot Streaks. Let's get the counter going again. There we go. So we got 30 seconds on it. Okay. Let's go over here and eat some foods. And then we'll try to get this buffed back up. We'll use this guy over here. Okay. Nope, not that one. Oh, we got it. We got both of them. Let's do it. Do it. Pyroblast. Ugh, whiffed. Pyroblast. Oh, ho, ho. That hit so hard. Oh my goodness. That was ridiculous. Well, here we go again. Oh, man, I'm screwing this up. Dang it. Cast it. Cast it. Oh no, dang it. Oh, why am I casting it on this guy? He's almost dead. No, I lost everything. I did it one time, okay? I did it one time. That is pretty awesome.
I've never killed something in the past before.
Man, that was 10K. Ah, dang. Man, I was trying to cast that. Okay, I like this legendary. It's pretty dope. I'm not even paying attention to the buff. Like, I really need a weak aura for this. I'm just in the groove now. Oh, I wasted that. Oh, gimme. Okay, I dig it. I think that's enough fire mage. I'm playing fire 100%. Thank you for the information and time. Hope you get more great time, pro. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we got to see the combo at least once, and then I screwed it up at least once. So there's that. I wanted to get both. I wanted to get the legendary proc, right? For the pyroblast that gives us combustion with the pyroclasm as well, which we did. We got it one time, so that was sweet. Let's see. Going to guess you're about 35 to 40. No, 40. Oh, my age? No, that's too old. Can you still run and cast Scorch? Yes. Yeah. Yep. So that's still a thing. Patrick, hello, greetings from Poland. Yo, what's up? I think you're the first person that's popped in here and said you were from Poland. That's pretty sweet. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Let's go Arcane. Hitting like a truck. Yeah, that 10K is seriously, I think, the biggest number I've seen so far playing the beta. That was ridiculous. That was definitely the biggest number I've seen. Which is funny because hunters have a legendary that just lets them do like 10K to everything in their tar trap when they shoot flare into it, which is a little bit silly. I think it's super overtuned, but we'll see. It does take a long time for the flare to actually land in the tar pit, so who knows. Ghost of Sasquatch. Hi there. Recently discovered your channel. Thanks for teaching me how to Death Knight. I'm having a blast tanking my way to 120. Awesome. Well, Blood DK still feels real good in Shadowlands, so look forward to that. A couple little changes here and there, but overall, it's about the same. But you're going to have a Covenant ability and Soulbinds and Conduits and all that kind of good stuff to go with it. Arcane, man. Arcane is doing what Arcane does, which is basically generating these arcane charges and then spending them. So we're going to build up arcane charges with Arcane Blast, and then we're going to consume them with Arcane Barrage. Along the way, hopefully we're going to get some procs for Magic Missile, so we can throw that out and deal some damage. And honestly, that's about it. So for our passives, we got Clear Casting for each 500 mana we spend. We have a 1% chance to gain Clear Casting, which makes our next Arcane Missiles or Arcane Explosion free and channel faster. And then our Mastery increases our mana regen and max mana. And then our Arcane Charges increase the damage and cost of our stuff. Or not the damage and cost, but the damage of Arcane Blast and Barrage. So pretty much straight up what Arcane is currently doing in BFA. So if we grab one of these, then we're going to use our Arcane Blast. Oop. Generate some of those. If we get a proc for Arcane Missiles, then we can pop off and shoot that. Once we hit our 4 Arcane Charges, it's a good time to throw out our Arcane Barrage. Didn't really want to cast missiles there. We pretty much only want to cast missiles when we get the proc for it like that. But that's Arcane. I don't know. Alright, so Arcane Blast, Arcane Blast, Arcane Barrage, back into Arcane Blast. Got our Magic Missiles proc. Blast. Blast. Barrage. Almost seems kind of silly. Like, the amount of damage that I take on fire compared to just doing this, you know? Looks like we're actually not getting any, like, procs there. That's an okay time to cast Arcane Missiles, I guess. It takes 15,000 mana, which is not ideal. But you get it, right? Blast. 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 Missiles. Yeah, if we can kill something with missiles, it's nice to keep the charges for just like an opening blast on a different enemy. So we can just, boom, take a chunk off, build it back up. We're not getting these missile procs. Now we got them. When I cast missiles, we got the proc for it. Alright, so let's go take a look at talents and stuff for Arcane. Yeah, you are old, Lost. You could be my granddad. No, my granddad's like 80 something, I think. Something ridiculous. Nice. Mr. Heartbane, Tsetzuko, having looked at your SL rankings, will your primary be playing DPS or looking for a class that can do a bit of everything? And will this be for Mythic Plus and Heroic Rating? Good questions. Aggie says, do I have the camera flipped or did I move the dresser? I don't know. You crazy. All right, let's take a look at these talents. And Mr. Heartbane, I will get to your question once I get back into running around killing stuff. So 15, we got when clear cast Arcane Missiles fires 2 additional missiles. Rules of 3, when you gain your 3rd Arcane Charge, the cost of your next Arcane Blast or Arcane Missiles is reduced by 100%. And then we have Arcane Familiar, summons a familiar that attacks your enemies and increases your maximum mana by 10% for 1 hour. I actually kind of like messing around with all 3 of these. So we'll see. 25, Shimmer, easy. 30, Incanter's Flow. 35, we've got Arcane Barrage deals 10% increased damage per target it hits, which is kind of garbage if we're fighting one target at a time. We got Charged Up, which gives us 4 arcane charges. I kind of like having this one, so if you need to like pop off a really strong Arcane Barrage immediately, you can do that. And then we have Supernova, 25-second cooldown, pulse arcane energy around the target, dealing arcane damage to all enemies within 8 yards and knocking them upwards. Primary enemy will take 100% damage. Sounds fun. I think we're going to grab that and test it out. On 40, we got Ice Ward and Ring of Frost. Chrono Shift's our other one here. Arcane Barrage slows enemies by 50% and increases your movement speed by 50% for 5 seconds. Probably fine. I mean, 2 charges on Frost Nova always feels good anyway, so maybe one of those 2. 45, we got Reverberate. If Arcane Explosion hits at least 3 targets, it has a 40% chance to generate an extra arcane charge. That's actually really useful if you're doing a lot of AoE. Those extra charges add up because by default, it only generates 1 charge if a target is hit. So this gives it a chance to generate an extra charge. It's got to hit 3 targets, though. Enlighten, arcane damage dealt while above 70% mana is increased by 8%. And mana regen while below 70% is increased by 20%. Nether Tempest puts a Nether Tempest on the target, which deals arcane damage over 12 seconds to the target and nearby enemies within 10 yards. Limit 1. Damage increased by 67% per arcane charge. I think I'm going to take Enlightened. Probably. And then 50, we got Overpowered. Arcane Power now increases damage by 60% and reduces mana cost by 60%. And that, I believe, is our little 3-minute boost. Time anomaly. At any moment, you have a chance to gain Arcane Power for 8 seconds, gain Evocation for 1 second, or gain 4 Arcane Charges. Then we have Arcane Orb, 20-second cooldown. Launch an orb forward, traveling up to 40 yards, dealing 1,200 arcane damage and granting 1 arcane charge every time it hits, deals damage. So what I want to grab here is Time Anomaly, Enlightened, Chrono Shift's fine. We'll grab Supernova, I think. Let's also grab Shimmer. And then I think... let's try Rule of Threes real quick. Okay, so we've got Supernova to add. I'm just going to throw that on there. And then outside of that, we got a boost to arcane damage while we're above 70% mana. We have a chance to gain a bunch of stuff randomly. And then we also, when we gain our 3rd arcane charge, cost of our next arcane blast or missiles is reduced. That was evocation for 1 second, I believe. So now our next... okay. Wow, that was a nice little crit. So it goes away if we cast the 3rd one. Or the 4th one. So right now we have... Is that working the way I think it is? Like, can we do both? Here, if we go... let's go ahead and ditch those. Let's get back up to 3. Arcane Barrage and Arcane Missiles. Okay, that's interesting. Instant cast. Yeah, okay, so we get to 3 and then we can just cast both of them for free. That's actually pretty nice in combination with our Enlightened ability there, because we're really only spending mana on Arcane Blast. The downside is we're only getting it to 3 arcane charges instead of 4, but that also feels pretty good against these enemies because we build up just enough to like kill them off. Like I think this is okay, right? So you do arcane blast 3 times. Then you do magic missiles and you do your arcane barrage. That's not bad. We get up to 3 again. Missiles. Barrage. And if barrage doesn't crit, I just assume you arcane blast. And actually with that combo, the chrono shift works out pretty well. Because you finish with barrage, and then if you notice there, that enemy was not like, it was nowhere close to getting to me. Okay, so we're in like an odd spot there. Actually, that was super easy. All right, so arcane blast, blast barrage. Can't get me. I actually really like that. That feels like super boring, but super effective. Have you done a Demon Hunter deep dive yet? Yes, I've done a deep dive, and I just did the testing earlier today, actually. So the most recent testing video is about Demon Hunters. Pretty fun builds in there. Mr. Heartbane. Okay, so let me get back in here. Let me give you guys this. I did update my rankings because I did Druid and Demon Hunter, so you guys can check those out there. And so you asked, will you primarily be playing DPS or looking for a classic to do a bit of everything? Most of the time, my main ends up being something that can tank. And the main reason for that is because I do a lot of stuff solo and I like instant queues in dungeons. But honestly, I'm getting really tired of having to tank all the time. And I would love to just play some DPS classes and get better at that. And I think that with the guild that I am trying to make on Horde and Alliance, hopefully I'm going to have people who are wanting to practice tanking. And that will allow me to play a DPS class. So I don't know, like it's if I had it my way, I would play DPS and just help people in the guild, especially those who like want to tank and want to heal and stuff, and I'll just be there on the side like supporting and being like, yeah, good job, I'm just gonna do this DPS stuff. But depending on how that all goes, I might end up like having to revert back to just maining a tank spec so that I can get instant dungeon queues and just get my stuff done. And as far as what content I'm looking at playing, so what I'm looking at doing is doing regular dungeons, heroic dungeons, possibly some low-level mythics, primarily to help people learn how to play and give them the opportunity to practice in a group that's not going to get frustrated with them and understands that, you know, probably multiple people in the group are trying to learn how to play. And then my other like main priority for Shadowlands is actually going to be Torghast and trying to climb Torghast as much as possible. Raids, I don't know. I don't know if I'd have the time to organize raids or anything like that. So anything beyond the like dungeon practice and Torghast is a TBD for right now. All right, let's get into Frost. So for Frost, we're doing the same thing with abilities pretty much here again. We've got our passives. We got Brain Freeze. So Frostbolt has a chance to empower Flurry to be instant cast and deal 50% increased damage and apply Winter's Chill. Winter's Chill makes the target take damage from your spells as if it were frozen. We got Fingers of Frost. Frostbolt has a chance, and Frozen Orb has a chance to grant a charge of Fingers of Frost. Fingers of Frost makes your next Ice Lance deal damage to the target as if it were frozen. So we got Frostbolt empowering Flurry. We got Frostbolt possibly giving us Fingers of Frost, which pumps up Ice Lance. We got our Mastery, which is Icicles. If we cast Frostbolt or Flurry, we get an Icicle. And then when we cast Ice Lance, it launches all the Icicles. We could store up to 5. If we have any over 5, they automatically get launched. And then we have Shatter. Multiplies the critical strike chance of your spells against frozen targets by 1.5 and adds an additional 50% critical strike chance. And that's why getting the Fingers of Frost or the Winter's Chill is pretty important. So really, this just kind of revolves around casting Frostbolt a bunch of times on a single target and just kind of waiting until you get a flashy button on your bar. And when you do, you push the flashy button and things die. Really, that's what it is. So Frostbolt, you want to get the chance to empower Flurry or Ice Lance. If you get the empowered Ice Lance, you don't have to cast it when you have 5 icicles, but if you have the 5 icicles, it's always nice to be able to do that. So here I got a Flurry, which is fine. You can just chuck Flurry out whenever, for the most part. So I got Flurry and then Ice Lance with 5 icicles for big chunky damage. Why does it feel like Fire's the one that just lives on the edge dangerously all the time? Now, you don't have to cast Ice Lance at 5. You still kind of want to wait for it to proc, so you get the additional damage. And any additional icicles that you generate will just fly off anyway. Am I even gonna, like, take damage on this character? Maybe. Not getting procs of anything against this guy. Wow. There we go. Ugh. I don't want to cast Flurry. This is where I was talking about, like, on Mage. So now you have Fire Blast, and I know it seems weird, but that would have been a decent time to cast Fire Blast right there at the end. Because I could have just instant cast that and killed him instead of, like, trying to recast a Frostbolt. So Frostbolt. Frostbolt. We got our Flurry. Back into Frostbolt. Got another Flurry. Yeah, so, like, right here, you just... Boop. Goodbye. No triggers for anything. Can I get the Ice Lance trigger, please? Yeah, so once again, you could just boop, Fire Blast. I think it's really cool to have that on the other specializations. And also, like, having Frostbolt on Arcane and Fire, I think is going to be pretty nice too, just for generic leveling. Let's see. Is it possible for me to switch to NA servers to join the guild? I'm in Scotland, so EU, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the only unfortunate thing. Like, I know I have plenty of people here who watch outside of NA, and I don't know what to do. I want you guys to be able to play too, but yeah. Like Lost says, he can just a second, Craig. Like Lost said, he's got a character on Oceanic without having to, like, rebuy anything or resub or anything. So I don't know. I don't think you can transfer characters or anything like that. But if you wanted to make one, you probably could. So a non-empowered Ice Lance deals 444 frost damage. And the Fire Blast does 6. Well, it's changing based on Incanter's flow. So I'll have to check the spell book here in a second. There we go. I got some procs finally. Okay, so Fire Blast does 774, and a non-empowered Ice Lance is dealing 440. So almost double damage from the Fire Blast. And it's the same amount of mana as well. So yeah, I think like a nice little finisher on Fire Blast. Obviously just for, you know, like open world questing and stuff like this. All right, let's get into the talents. Yeah, it's supposed to get even faster. It's supposed to get even faster in Shadowlands, like the leveling process. Hey, you guys, don't forget to like the video if you're enjoying it, having a good time. Cass says, me wishing I could play on EU servers. I don't know, man. Me too, a little bit. Yeah, I think the Fire Blast is going to be really nice to have there. Just as like that little finisher when you're like, I just need a teeny bit of damage. And I mean, the recharge on it's like 11 seconds. So that's not too bad. Not going to be as great if you're fighting multiple targets and need to finish a bunch of them off. But I think at that point, you just throw out a Frozen Orb or something. Or you've got, you know, Blizzard or whatever, Cone of Cold or whatever you need to throw out there. All right, so getting into the talents here, we've got Bone Chilling. Whenever you attempt to chill a target, you gain Bone Chilling, increasing spell damage you deal by 0.5% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. Got Lonely Winter, replaces Summon Water Elemental, which, you know, I wasn't even using because I always forget to summon my Water Elemental on Frost. Always. I don't know, like everything else I remember is always just freaking Frost Mage. Frostbolt, Ice Lance, and Flurry deal 25% increased damage. I should probably take that since I forget all the time. And then we've got Ice Nova, which is a nice little sort of AoE thing. It does 1500 frost damage to the target, which is a pretty solid amount on a 25-second cooldown, actually. But I kind of just want to take Lonely Winter since, you know, I just forget all the time anyway. We'll take Shimmer. I didn't check the legendaries for Arcane. What did I have? Arcane Barrage deals an additional 40% damage against targets below 35% health. So that would just have powered up what we were doing anyway. Actually, that probably would have been pretty nice. Yeah, I just like taking Shimmer. And Incanter's Flow. And then 35, we got Frostbolt grants you Fingers of Frost and Brain Freeze 20% more often. Which I do like. We've got Chain Reaction. Ice Lance against frozen targets increases the damage of your Ice Lances by 3% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. And Ebon Bolt. Launch a bolt of ice at the enemy, dealing 1700 frost damage and granting you Brain Freeze. Nice. So Brain Freeze is... okay, the one for Flurry. Got it. 45-second cooldown, 2.3 second cast. Okay, on 40, we've got Ice Ward, Ring of Frost, and Frigid Winds. Frigid Winds seems pretty nice. Then 45, we've got Freezing Rain. Frozen Orb makes Blizzard instant cast and increases its damage done by 50%. Your Ice, Lance, and Icicles now deal 5% increased damage and hit a second nearby target for 80% of their damage. Your Ebon Bolt and Glacial Spike also hit a second nearby target for 80% of its damage. And then Comet Storm, 30-second cooldown, 8 Icy Comets that deal 2,400 damage to all enemies within 6 yards of the impact. That's actually a lot of damage. And 50, Thermal Void. Icy Veins duration is increased by 10%. Your Ice Lances against frozen targets extend your Icy Veins. We got Ray of Frost. 1.3 minute cooldown. You channel a beam at the enemy, dealing 1,000 frost damage every 0.9 seconds. For 4 point... wow, that's a ton of damage. Each time Ray of Frost deals damage, its damage and snare increases by 10%. That is ridiculous. Then we have Glacial Spike, which is what I like to use. Conjures a massive spike of ice and it merges your current icicles into it. It impales your target, dealing 2,500 damage plus all the damage stored in your icicles, and freezes the target in place for 4 seconds. And you need 5 icicles to cast, and then your Ice Lance no longer launches icicles. So Typically what I like to pick up is Glacial Spike. We'll go Lonely Winter, Shimmer, Incanter's Flow. Maybe Chain Reaction. Well, let's try Chain Reaction and see how it works. And then I want to try this Comet Storm. Just for fun. Okay, so let's drop in Comet Storm and Glacial Spike, but we actually want to use Glacial Spike the most. So we are stronger with no water elemental. We've got our Ice Lance's increased damage. So anytime we hit Ice Lance, we're basically just getting a buff as long as we have the little proc from Frostbolt. And then we've got Comet Storm just to play around with, and then we're going to hurl Glacial Spikes at things. So let's see how it goes. So we're doing the same thing. Right, Frostbolt, Flurry. So now when we hit 5 icicles, we want to cast our Glacial Spike, which hits basically like a boosted Pyroblast. And boop. Glacial Spike. Boop. Alright, so let's see how this Comet does. Man, this proc chance here seems pretty low. Man, I don't know if this Comet is like the best pick on this row, but I like it. Yeah, I mean, by the time we kind of like get around to things here, like we're about ready to cast it again. Yeah, we are not really getting procs for Ice Lance. So, like, the Ice Lance against frozen targets increases the damage of your Ice Lance by 3% for 10 seconds. So, we are freezing stuff with Glacial Spike. So, if we Glacial Spike and then we Ice Lance, I mean, like, that's a perk, but I don't think it's that good because I don't think we can stack it that fast here. Like, we got it there, right? Okay. Let's do Glacial Spike into Ice Lance. Oh, I guess we can just spam Ice Lance, huh? Ugh. Okay, so the frozen effect broke. That's what happened. Yeah, it's nice when we can get the freeze in there. So like Glacial Spike straight into a Frost Lance is, wow, that was disgusting. Come back. I love that ability. It's too good. Alright, let's do Glacial Spike. Ice Lance. Yeah, I mean this is solid to me. Once again, this is kind of like Arcane. Like there's nothing flashy, there's nothing too crazy going on, but I mean I like what's happening. So what is this? Chilled, but not frozen. Okay. Wow, you guys like are really chatting it up here. Let's see. How did you get a character on Oceanic without buying anything? Just switch and made a tune. How do you switch? Just change something in the WoW folder. No, you change in the menu. The actual WoW menu. When you cast Flurry, it instacasts their debuff on the target. Make your next 2 Ice Lance crit without finger. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, you're right. You're right. So, Flurry, Ice Lance, right? But it only works same target, right? So now they won't count as frozen unless I actually have used Flurry on them. That should count, right? Okay, so now here it would be frozen, Glacial Spike. We get frozen. Okay, so then that would have been frozen again. Gotcha, okay. I was looking, I was like, there's got to be a couple other ways that we freeze things, right? So we get a guaranteed freeze with Glacial Spike, but we also get the freeze with Flurry because we get Brain Freeze. While Brain Freeze is active, Flurry applies Winter's Chill, causing your target to take damage from your spells as if it were frozen. Nice. Is there any other way that we've got like a guaranteed freeze built into the kit here without talents? That doesn't take like a big cooldown? We can get Fingers of Frost. Looks like just those. Okay, so let's test out. I've got a legendary here. Your pet. I don't have a pet because I took the talent. I took Lonely Winter. Should I try with the pet then? Let's see. Oh, we could grab Ice Nova. Sure, let's grab Ice Nova. So now that is going to deal frost damage to the target and freeze them. And then that gives us our water elemental. And then our watermelon can also freeze the target for up to 8 seconds. Okay, so that adds a couple more ways for us to freeze in there, right? So we can do Ice Nova. It says freezing them in place. But it does not say... Well, it didn't... Oh, wait. Did I just... No. Freeze! Freeze them! There we go. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I got the kind of like the basics down on Frost, but not the like intricacies. All right, so either way, I like the build. I think I like the one without the water elemental. I don't like managing the pet. Plus, I don't really want the extra button for Ice Nova. And I think I get the job done here. I feel like the water elemental one is probably going to be something that's better in like dungeons and raids when like I don't have to pay so much attention to when I can just kind of go through a rotation, I guess. Let's see. Just want to increase my chances of raiding. Since I work overnight and don't have luck running into a guild of people awake at the same time. Super true. That's what you get for being a trucker. Aggie, I can hear you. Alright, like I said, let's check out these legendaries real quick. Frost seems pretty fun. It's always been my favorite mage spec. Honestly, all three of these actually felt pretty good. Do I like them better than Warlock? I think that's probably the question. Yeah. Do I like them better than Warlock? I don't know. Let's try some legendaries. So while Icy Veins is active, I'm not going to use Icy Veins. No, I think we're good. I think we're good with Mage. Overall, all the specs seem really solid. For me, I don't know that there's anything like super new here between BFA to Shadowlands, but there's new stuff for me. And I think the builds in all those felt pretty good. Arcane, I know there's more to it, but I'm not really a caster, like a cloth caster player, and I don't feel like Arcane is like hooking me in enough that I'm going to want to explore that much any further. But Frost, I actually like. I like big flashy buttons on my bar. I'm that person. And Fire, with a couple of little changes that we made there, a couple of little tweaks, that overpowered coming soon talent, seems like it's going to be pretty fun too. But honestly, I've played so much Fire that I actually think that for Mage in particular, Frost might be a pretty fun specialization to level as and focus on in Shadowlands. So where does that leave us? Definitely still not maining Mage at all in Shadowlands, but that's because I am I'm a melee whore for the most part. So yeah, for Mage, I think I would put Frost up at B tier. I think that's where I'm moving it. Frost is going to B tier. Fire is going to C tier. And I think Arcane is staying in F tier. Yeah, I think so. I think Warlock was a little bit more fun for me. Malefic Rapture is just fun. All right, let me catch up on this chat, and then we're going to get into Shaman. You guys don't forget to like the stream if you're enjoying it, having a good time hanging out here with us sleep-deprived folk in the chat and this one. Let's see. Frost seems pretty fun. Always been my favorite mage spec. Yeah, I read that one. See? It's getting me. Mage seems to be hitting pretty hard. Yeah, I mean, pretty chunky, dude. That Pyroblast that we hit earlier was... that was a lot of fun. 10k. All right, we're going to do Shaman next. Question is, what race are we going to be? We just did Dark Iron Dwarf. We are not doing Pandaren. We got Koltiran. What do Koltiran Shaman totems look like? Oh, they look like the fist weapons. I really don't like that just because it reminds me of the fist weapon. It doesn't remind me of a totem. What are our other options here? Let's go back over here. Draenei, Dwarf, blah. Goblin, High Mountain Tauren, Magar, Orc. Let's try the Zandalari Troll. Shaman. Yeah, there we go. This has got to be taken. Yeah, okay. I figured it was. Yeah, that's got to be taken too. Zappy Zap. Nobody's got that stupid name. Mage is a glass cannon. Nothing beats blinking out of AoE mechanics in a dungeon. Who walks? Or just blinking past everybody when you're navigating a dungeon. Frost is only fun once you get the crit, soft cap, and pile on tons of haste. I don't know. It's still fun just in that base form there, too. Man, this just jumped like crazy. Pet gives you an AoE freeze. Your pet, where's your pet? I picked the non-pet talent, okay? I don't want a pet. I've got demons on Warlock, and I've got a pet on Survival Hunter. Like, I'm good. I got a ghoul as an Unholy Death Knight. Tired of all these pets. I got real pets. Never think of pet with mage. Yeah, the same here. I think it's just better for me to take the talent because when I log on to mage, I'm not going to remember to summon my water elemental. Water elemental. I always want to say water elemental. Aggie throws stuff. Yeah, she just started yelling at me. Thanks, guys. I vote for tip systems for Aggie to throw stuff. $20. Aggie throws an egg. No, this is... No. She was going to throw... Pepe. He's gone. Arcane's good spec for new players for its simplicity, but once you reach a certain comfortability, you should probably switch to Frost or Fire. I don't want to insult anyone who really likes Arcane, but I don't disagree with that. But that's totally okay. It's kind of how I feel about Guardian Druid, too. Let's see. Invoker says, like this vid all? Z-Troll. Text to speech. This guy pulls out, waiting for him to move so I can park. It's Friday for me. Watermelon Elemental. Watermelon. Watermelon. All right, let's go try out Shaman, guys. Shaman was something that I was pretty hyped for, and I've been pretty blah about since I did the deep dive on it because I was really pumped for enhancement, and enhancement doesn't feel good. It didn't feel good the last time I played, and it's making me sad. It's making me sad. Elemental feels pretty much the way it was before. And Resto, I don't know. I haven't really looked at the Resto talents too much, so we need to get in and check those out. Says the guy who has a restoration healing guide on his channel. You guys got to understand, right? You're playing 36 specializations. Like, you play them in waves. And honestly, I haven't liked BFA enough to keep playing WoW a bunch. So a lot of the stuff that I probably would still be up to speed on, I've just forgotten because I haven't played in a while. All right, so we're not doing Bloodlust. Earth Elemental has a permanent earthquake attached to it. That sounds pretty cool. Meh. Let's see. We're Elemental right now. Okay, that sounds Flame Shock, increased critical strike chance sounds pretty good. This weird Elemental Equilibrium. I don't know. Some of those aren't exciting. Let's grab all of our mats. Auto loot. Let's get some legendaries, even though I end up not testing half of these. Okay, what do we got? I want this one, so let's grab this one. This does some stuff with the fire elemental that I don't care about, but mainly it just gives your flame shock increased critical strike. I want this crazy earth elemental, has a permanent earthquake attached to it. That seems a little ridiculous. Nah, I'm not worried about that one. Nah. I do want to try this weird elemental equilibrium one. Is that it? So we got Skybreaker. We got Elemental. And then we got the Deep Tremor. I think that's all I wanted for Elemental. So let's jump out and let's switch specs. And we'll grab the other legendaries. We'll do Enhancement next. Cass has always got some smart A thing to say. It keeps it entertaining, though. All right, let's go to Enhancement. That Resto Healing Guide was the first vid I saw of yours. It helped me massively. Nice! Now you can see how much I have forgotten since I made that guide. It's so fun. I'm like, yeah, guys, what do you do on Blood when you want to tank again? What's the button you push? Okay, let's jump in, see what we got for enhancement. Doom Winds. Legacy. Witch Doctor. Okay, we'll just pick up some of these. They all look pretty interesting. And enhancement really needs like some help. So if it's got to come from a legendary, I'll take it. There's Doom Winds. Okay. Witch Doctor. And should have one more. Is it Legacy? Is that the one I'm missing? Consuming 5 stacks? Yeah. All right. And look, like right here, I can't move my camera, and then I can. That's so irritating. But hopefully you're just not in here talking to this guy that much, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in here repeatedly on multiple classes, multiple specs, talking to this guy, so that gets pretty annoying. But if you just run in and you do, like, the one thing, you craft a legendary, and, like, you're just gone, it's probably not that bad. My insomnia kicks my butt. It's 7:22 a.m. and I haven't slept yet. Saw Set was live and thought I'd jump in and chat nonsense for a while. That's what we're doing. Okay. All right, what do we got? I kind of just want Earth and Harmony. All right, let's go test. What do we want to see first? Enhancement, Elemental, Resto. I kind of want to do Enhancement last because I feel like it's the one I need to test the most. So do you guys want to see Elemental or Resto first? I know the healer ones are kind of weird, but I felt like I did a pretty good job on the Druid one, checking that one out, testing it out. All things considered, just being out there, you know, in the open world and stuff. Resto, Resto, Resto. Okay, Resto it is. That was a triple Resto in all caps. At 1:30 in the morning. You can have it. We'll do Resto. It's only 11:30 here. Well, yeah, whatever, Cass. Nice community to be a part of. I'm definitely going to make a character on NA. Been wanting to try Feral Druid for a while. Ooh, I did Feral earlier. And there's a pretty sick build with a new talent called Blood Talons, which is a lot of fun. You don't even use Ferocious Bite in it. So if you get the chance, check that video out. I think it's still processing, so like the whole stream isn't there yet. YouTube, I don't know about YouTube, man. I think it took like 8 hours for the full VOD of the last stream that I did to show up. I love this Ardenwild class ability on Resto Shaman. It's pretty sick. This Fey Transfusion. I just think it's really good on Resto Shaman. But I'm not going to tell you what it is because that would just be too much. I'm just kidding. So this ability here, keep in mind it's a Covenant ability, and I haven't been talking about those here on the stream. These streams. So you transfer the life force of up to 4 enemies, dealing almost 7,000 nature damage to all of them over 2.8 seconds. And then you've got 20 seconds in which you can push Fey Transfusion again. And if you do, you heal yourself, and up to 8 allies for 25% of the damage that you dealt. Absolutely disgusting. It does a lot less damage on the other specializations because I found that tank and healing specializations get more damage out of the Covenant abilities most of the time. All right, so looking at Shaman across the board, classes have the specializations have access to some similar stuff. So we've got what do we have? Like Chain Lightning, Chain Heal. We've got Flame Shock, Flame Tongue Weapon. So Flame Tongue Weapon and Wind Fury Weapon are back. Flame Tongue is the only one that's available to all of them. Wind Fury Weapon is enhancement specific. Got Flame Shock across the board, Frost Shock across the board. Actually, Healing Stream Totem is now universal as well. Lightning Strike, Lightning Shield, Primal Strike, which is weird. It's just an instant weapon attack that does basically no damage. So super weird there. And then for Resto, we've got our Riptide, Healing Wave, Chain Heal. We've still got Healing Tide Totem and Healing Stream Totem. We've got our Healing Rain, Earth Shield, Water Shield. We've got our little mini elemental rotation we can do with our Lava Burst and that kind of stuff as well. In passives, we got Lava Surge, so the little elemental passive. We got our Mastery. Healing from your spells is increased based on the current health of your target. Lower health targets are healed for more. We got Resurgence, which is just chance to refund some mana. And then Tidal Waves, so that is our casting Chain Heal. A Riptide reduces the cast time of your next healing wave by 20% or increases the critical effect chance of your next healing surge by 40%. Stacks up to 2. 2 times. Let's throw that in there. 2 times. I don't have the brain power to type up a fully complete bug report. I can't even make a fully complete sentence right now. Okay, so let's go get hit. Do I have I don't even have like lightning bolt. I guess I'll just lava burst. Wow, that hit pretty hard. Alright, so we take some damage. We got our little healing stream we could put out, which will heal us. Wow, 990 on a crit, 482. That's actually a pretty decent heal. We've got our Earth Shield, so this will increase the healing on us and heal us when we take damage. Now, Resto actually has access to Earth Shield, the Water Shield, and Lightning Shield, but you can only have one shield up at a time on a target. So, like if I switch to Water Shield, then I no longer have Earth Shield. I'm gonna grab my Flame Tongue weapon here. Alright, we can do our Healing Rain. Got our Riptide. So you get the idea. Let's see if we can kill this thing real quick with a flame shock, and then cast some lightning bolts. Okay. So hopefully you kind of get the idea. I'm not going too deep in here because like it's just weird testing healing rotations out here. And I already know for Restoration Shaman, if you're out here trying to kill stuff, you just do like a mini version of the elemental rotation, which is not that difficult. You flame shock the target, and then you basically just start spamming lightning bolt. Hope you get some procs on your flame shock so that you get the lava surge and you can cast your lava burst. So yeah, you flame shock, lava burst, spam lightning bolt, hope you get a proc and can just throw off a lava burst again. And you've got some other things that you can do in there if you want to, like in AoE, you can do your chain lightning instead of just lightning bolt. But I mean, it's pretty much straight up from there. So what I'm more interested in seeing is what the talents can do to make the build a little bit more interesting, I guess. Although I know that I don't think a whole lot of stuff has changed for Restoration Shaman, so I don't know how interesting this is going to be. I know for Paladin and Monk, I got to check out some like close range healing stuff. And then I've also done Druid, and Druid had a couple of interesting changes, and I just hadn't played it in a long time too, so it was interesting to look at. So we'll take a look. So on 15, we got Torrent, increases the initial heal from Riptide by 30%. Definitely like that. Every third healing wave or healing surge heals for an additional. And then we have Unleash Life. Unleash the elemental forces of life, healing a friendly target for 1900, which is a good damage value, an okay healing value, and increasing the effects of the shaman's next direct heal by 35%. I mean, Torrent is just easy, right? 25, we got Echo of the Elements, Riptide, Healing Stream, Totem, and Lava Burst now have 2 charges. That's definitely nice. Having the 2 charges on Riptide is pretty sweet. Actually, all 3 of those abilities having 2 charges is awesome. Let's see. Consume up to 3 charges of Earth Shield to heal up to 6 allies near your Earth Shield target. Okay. I think I still just like having the charges here. Big fan of Spirit Wolf in general when you're in outdoor content because you get increased movement speed and damage reduction. Up to 20% increased movement speed in Ghost Wolf, which is nice. 35. We've got Ancestral Vigor. Targets you heal with Healing Wave, Healing Surge, Chain Heal, or Riptides. Initial heal gain 10% increased health. Earth and Wall Totem. Let's see. Reflects. Okay. Some damage gets redirected to the totem. Ancestral Protection Totem. This is the one that if an ally dies, it eats the totem and brings them back to life. So I think just generic, like Vigor, is pretty good. 40, Nature's Guardian is our oh crap, don't die talent. We got Graceful Spirit, reduces the cooldown of Spirit Walker's Grace and increases your movement speed. And then Wind Rush Totem. I honestly don't really like any of these talents, but that's just me. They just seem weird. 45, Flash Flood. When you consume tidal waves the next time, then cast time of your next heal is reduced by 20%. We got Downpour, which I kind of like. And then Cloudburst Totem. This replaces our Healing Stream Totem. Collects power from all your healing spells. When it expires, the stored power is released, healing all injured allies within 40 yards for 30% of all healing done while it was active. Not really super necessary. Then we have High Tide. Every 40,000 mana you spend brings a High Tide, making your next 2 chain heals heal for an additional 10% and not reduce with each jump. Not all that useful out here doing solo stuff by yourself. You got Wellspring, which heals in a wide arc, and then you have your ascendants. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, like overall, I think I know I'm making this super short, but there's just not a lot of interesting stuff going on here for me. There's a lot of options, and I think a lot of these options are viable, but I think a lot of these options also change depending on what type of content you're doing. And I mean, if you're talking about like just being out here solo in the open world, there's not a whole lot that you do, right? Because it's mostly tied to your mini elemental thing. So, I mean, I would probably take something like Ascendance as like an oh crap button. Immediately heals you for 8,800. And if you're the only ally, then you get it all. Or you could take Wellspring, potentially, but I don't know that you really need that. This is 4,000 mana. 1.4 second cast. I guess it is faster than a healing wave. Nature's Guardian's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Like, most of the stuff here, like, yeah, I think you just got to get in a dungeon, you got to play. Or if you're not in a dungeon, like, I'm interested to see, like, what makes sense for Torghast. Like, I use this tome, and I'm not even going to change anything. I think for me, that's kind of where this is at. Like, get into a dungeon, figure out what playstyle I like, which I really don't honestly know. I've healed some dungeons on Shaman, but not a ton of them recently. I used to heal on Resto Shaman a lot back when Earthshield originally came out. And also, like, what's going to make sense in Torghast. So, I don't know. Probably the most boring or least involved, like, test that I'm going to do in this whole series, but yeah, I don't know. That's the thing about Restoration. I feel like most of their talents are good enough, right? It's weird that to me, a lot of them don't seem super overpowered compared to the rest of them on the line. And that could be ignorance on my part and just not having enough knowledge of Resto to know the difference. But it's been a quick minute. When did Earthshield come out? Was that BC? I think I remember healing in BC. Yeah, on like a Draenei. And that was my friend's main, was a Draenei. All right, let's switch over to Elemental, which I can talk about more for sure. I saw where you already made DK. Is there a link to the video I could watch for it? Yes. Do you want the deep dive where I just kind of glance at everything, or do you want the one like this where I'm like digging into talents and stuff? Just let me know. Resto. Everybody says Resto. Taco Bell time. Get out of here. You should set up a Patreon or donations. I actually do have a Patreon, which you can check out. I just don't advertise it or link to it very much right now because I don't really do anything on it at the moment. It's just if you want to donate, you can donate. Kind of a deal. That's going to change in the coming months, but for right now, I'm not too worried about promoting it or anything. Okay, so what has changed with Elemental? Basically, we don't have Maelstrom as a resource anymore. So that's totally gone. Everything is mana based, but more importantly, everything is cooldown and stack based. And that's going to make sense here in a second. So we have a couple of passives. We got Elemental Fury, damaging critical strikes, blah, blah, blah. Fulmination is the more important one. We've got Lava Surge, which is the same as it's always been. You throw Flame Shock on something, you got a chance to get a instant cast Lava Burst. And our Mastery, which gives us a chance to double cast Lightning Bolt, Lava Burst, and Chain Lightning. So Fulmination is the new thing here, and this ties in two ways. So Fulmination specifically is tied to Lightning Bolt and Lightning Bolt Overload. So if you cast Lightning Bolt or you get the Overload, either one of those can grant you, will grant you a stack of Fulmination. Once you get to 8 stacks of Fulmination, that's the cap, and Earthshock is your big single target damage dealing ability. And now Earthshock will consume all your fulmination stacks that you currently have to deal extra damage. So what you're doing on a single target situation is you're casting a bunch of lightning bolts in order to stack fulmination. And when you have your fulmination at 8 or, whatever it might be, then you're going to cast Earthshock to deal a stronger Earthshock. Now, it doesn't say anything about this in like the fulmination passive, but if you look at Earthquake basically does the same thing. So Earthquake is your big AoE kind of, let's say, finisher. But each time Chain Lightning hits more than one target, the cast time of your next Earthquake is reduced by 20% and the damage is increased, stacking up to 5 times. So basically, if you get to your 5 stacks of, I forget what the heck it's called, but it's the fulmination for AoE basically, then you get a instant cast Earthquake that deals a lot more damage. That's literally like the core of what has changed. No Maelstrom. Now you have to deal with fulmination stacks and stacks for Earthquake. Everything else is pretty much the same. You've got a couple of additions, right? You got your Flame Tongue weapon. Your shocks are still there. You've got like Lightning Shield. You got a couple of extra healing options since you have the healing totem now. But if we go over here to this dude, and so we'll do the usual, right? Flame Shock, Lava Burst, Lightning Bolts. Here's our fulmination stacks, right? So we're up to 7. And then right here we could chunk out that Earth Shock. And I don't know, man. Like, Earth Shock just doesn't... It doesn't have the oomph that I want it to have. Like, it really doesn't. Like, if you look at this, so we're at 5 stacks, right? Let's get up to 8. All right, so we're at 7, 8. So it hit for like 9/11 non-crit. And for whatever reason, like, I'm expecting when I build up these stacks that it's going to hit a lot harder than that. But it doesn't. So we're up to 3. Now, it's not that, like, the elemental rotation itself doesn't feel good or anything. But, like, right there, yeah, it doesn't seem to crit a lot. I don't know if getting some crit would feel a lot better. So here we go, 8 stacks again. Yeah, it hits for like 900 on a non-crit. But it seems to like hardly ever crit. Seven. Maybe we need to tie in when we cast that to a spot in our rotation when we have like a guaranteed crit or something. That's like the only thing I can really think of. And then, like I said, if we were doing AoE, let's see if we can do some AoE here without dying. All right, so we do our Chain Lightning. And now we're 1 stack, 2 stacks, 3 stacks, 4, 5, and then our Earthquake will deal more damage in its instant cast. All right, so that's before we start messing with any sort of talents or anything. And like I said, it doesn't, the elemental rotation doesn't feel bad. I think Earthquake and Earthshock don't have the impact that they need, and it might just be an issue of like an audio-visual thing, but like for stacking up 8 things, I would expect like a woof, you know, to put all that effort into it. And it's just not there. It's kind of like Earthshock. You know what I mean? So, we'll look at some talents here. Let's see. The captain says, where did you make your YouTube logo? Just a free program. I made my YouTube logo with Canva, but I made it from scratch in Canva. So, like, I didn't use a template in there. I do a lot of my own graphic design stuff. I've got a web design development degree that I don't put to good use. So I use it here on the channel. But I just get really frustrated at trying to make thumbnails. So that's why all my thumbnails are the same for the past 80 videos. Oh, I should have Taco Bell tomorrow since August 1st doing a no eating out junk food challenge. Ooh. Nice, dude. Looks good. Sweet. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, so let's see if we can spice this up a little bit or maybe make Earthshock feel a little better somehow. So Earth and Rage is the thing that is throwing the chunky little spikes out on the side. We got Echo of the Elements. Lava Burst has 2 charges. And then Elemental Blast. Harness the raw power of the elements, dealing elemental damage and increasing your critical strike, haste, or mastery by 112 for 10 seconds. Elemental Blast will consume all stacks of Fulmination to deal extra damage to the target. So it does 806 baseline with a 12-second cooldown. Earthshock does 403 with a cooldown. So maybe we grab Elemental Blast and just sub that in for Earthshock, because Earthshock just feels like a wet noodle. So yeah, let's try that. We'll try getting Elemental Blast. Right now we have Earthshock has a 25% chance to not consume any stacks of Fulmination. Meh. Echoing Shock. Shock the target for 655 and create an echo, causing your next damage or healing spell to be cast second time 1 second later for free. And then we have Totem Mastery. I like Totem Mastery. But man, they put it on a 1 minute cooldown. That's an interesting choice. I don't like that very much. Oh, but it drops, okay, this one drops like all the totems. The actual totems that have cooldowns, I think. All right, 30, we got Spirit Wolf. We could pick up Earth Shield if we wanted to. Or Static Charge. 35, we got Master of the Elements. Casting Lava Burst increases the damage of your next nature, physical, or frost spell by 20%. Storm Elemental. I don't really like the elemental replacements. And then we have Liquid Magma Totem. I think I'll stick with Master of the Elements. Here we're fine. 45, we got Surge of Power. Consuming at least 6 stacks Fulmination also enhances your next spell cast within 15 seconds. Primal Elementalists. I don't like this because it's like just more micromanagement with the pets. We got Ice Fury. Hurls frigid ice at the target, dealing a frost damage and causing your next 4 frost shocks to deal 200% increased damage. Kind of interesting. With Surge of Power, we're casting like Earth Shock, and then we're basically going back into like a Lightning Bolt. So we can get Fulmination stacks pretty fast. That actually seems pretty good. And then Unlimited Power. When your spells cause an elemental overload, you gain 2% haste for 10 seconds. Gaining a stack does not refresh the duration. We got Stormkeeper. Charge yourself with lightning, causing your next 2 lightning bolts to deal 150% more damage, and also causes your next 2 lightning bolts or chain lightnings to be instant cast and trigger an elemental overload on every target. Sounds kind of interesting. All right, let's make a couple of changes here. So I want to get Elemental Blast. Let's try Totem Mastery. Let's keep Spirit Wolf, Master of the Elements. Let's keep Surge of Power, and let's try Stormkeeper. All right, so let's do Elemental Blast instead of Earth Shock. And then let's throw Stormkeeper in here somewhere. So let's see how this feels, right? So we're going to do the same thing we did before, but we're going to try to just see how it is to use Elemental Blast in place of... Okay, so we're at 7 stacks. Let's go ahead and get 8. Oh, it's got a cast time, and I was not paying attention. Got it. So it's not instant cast, which is part of the reason it probably doesn't do as much damage. Or part of the reason it does more damage, I mean. We're at 8 stacks. Elemental Blast. Okay, that did about 1,600, right? That's what it looked like. Yeah, that's doing about 1,600 on a non-crit. It's not bad. Ugh. Wow. Wow, that was some nice burst. Holy cow. That was pretty sick. Yeah, I don't know. This elemental rotation is actually feeling pretty good. There's enough flashy lights that I like it. And I do just like this Elemental Blast better, I think, than Earthshock. Oof. Yeah, I'm not wasting that. And go. Ugh, I like how stormy everything is on Elemental. Yeah, dude. When that Elemental Blast crits, man, that is good. That is good stuff. That is like chunky as hell damage. Look at that. That was like 3,300 damage. Oh, man, the crits are real right now. I love it. Get him! Didn't get it that time. Elemental Blast! Ah, no crit. Makes me sad. Ooh, man, that's good stuff. Did you say what do baseball memories have to do with anything? Explain yourself, Lost. Did you pick a covenant yet? Yes, I picked all 4. I'm going to have a main character for each covenant. For BFA, I had a Horde and Alliance main, and for Shadowlands, I'm going to have a main for each covenant. One of those mains will be like my actual main, and the other ones will be like the alts that I play the most. This feels real good. I didn't even try Totem Mastery. I was so caught up in all this other stuff that I didn't even try it. I don't think I care either. That just was cool. I like it. Elemental Blast, way more satisfying than Earth Shock. Yeah, if you can get back to that Elemental Blast in the time that you have whatever stat it gives you, especially if you get the critical strike increase by 112, that's pretty sick. The haste is pretty sick too because you're cast faster. And then, I mean, our mastery right here increases the chance that we have to get elemental overload, which just gets us into elemental blast faster. So, yeah, bye-bye Earth Shock. As far as I'm concerned, like, I'm playing this elemental blast build. Don't know about the 25 talent row. Also not 100% sure about the 35 or the 50. But Stormkeeper seems good for big lightning bolt damage and getting your fulmination back up for elemental blast. Legendaries. What did we make? I know I got a bunch of these. We didn't test out any on Resto. Even though I think I had one for Resto. So let's see what we got. Okay, Earth Shield healing is increased by 300%. Okay, yeah. Wind Fury Totem. Maelstrom Weapon. Flame Shock. Oh, I did want to try that one. And that one. And that one. Okay, so let's test this one out. Each time Flame Shock deals periodic damage, increase the damage of your next Lava Lash. No, Lava Lash is enhancement, so that goes up there. Okay, yeah, now we're looking right. Earth Elemental has a permanent earthquake attached to it. Let's do it. Let's go. Chain lightning. Stormkeeper chain lightning. Earthquake on the earthquake. That's actually kind of silly. It's really weird to see that animation like rolling along the ground. Where did you come from? Alright, elemental's almost gone. Alright, so the next one is Flame Shock damage over time, critical strikes, reduce the cooldown of Fire Elemental, and Flame Shock has a 30% increased critical strike chance. I mostly just want to try this for the critical strike chance. See if we can get a better burn out of this pretty often. Nope. Not getting any sort of crits there. Okay, dealing direct fire damage increases the damage of your next frost spell. Dealing frost damage increases the damage of your next nature spell. Dealing nature damage increases the damage of your next fire spell. So we want to go fire to frost, frost to nature, nature to fire. So fire to frost is going to be lava lash to or lava burst to frost shock. Frost to nature is going to be frost shock to lightning bolt, and then lightning bolt to flame shock. All right, so lava burst, to flame shock, to lightning bolt, or frost shock, I mean. Fire, frost, nature, elemental blast. Oh! Wow. What are we on now? Does it start over? Lava burst, frost, lightning, flame, frost, lightning, flame, frost, elemental blast. That's kind of fun. Oh, I guess we do have space to earthquake here now because, or earth shock, because elemental blast is on cooldown. All right, so let's do fire, ice, nature, fire, ice, nature. That's an interesting legendary. Kind of like the rhythm it puts you into. Like, I don't think I would normally do that rotation, but with that particular legendary in place, like, that was a pretty big elemental blast thing that we did there. That was close to 4,500, 5,000, somewhere in there. All right, enhancement. So, man, I need to explain the problem with enhancement and hopefully see if we can figure it out. Wait, what? What? Did they bring it back? No, they just didn't update the tooltip. Okay, I was like, we don't have Rockbiter. Yeah, we don't have Rockbiter. Right? No Rockbiter there. And no Rockbiter here. Right. Stop saying taco time. Okay. So, enhancement. Couple of things are going on here. So first off, let's get our dual wield on. Right, so we want our dual wield maces here. Now, for enhancement, we have Flame Tongue Weapon, right? And this automatically applies to your offhand. And then we have Wind Fury Weapon, which automatically applies to your main hand. Now, we've got our Flame Shock. We've got Lava Lash, Storm Strike, Crash Lightning, Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning. And then we have like our Feral Spirit as well. And now we have Wind Fury Totem too. So Maelstrom's gone. It's no longer a resource. And we kind of sort of do some stacking, kind of like Elemental does. So if we look at our passives, we have Lashing Flames. No, this is a talent, I believe. Yeah, so not that one. Maelstrom Weapon. When you deal damage with a melee weapon, you have a chance to gain Maelstrom Weapon, stacking up to 10 times. Each stack of Maelstrom Weapon reduces the cast time of your next damage or healing spell by 20% and increases the damage or healing of your next spell by 20%. A maximum of 5 stacks of Maelstrom Weapon can be consumed at a time. So basically, once you hit 5 stacks, you can do a full consume to get a maximum benefit from this. But if you have 2 stacks, it'll still use 2 stacks. If you have 7 stacks, it'll use 5 stacks. So now, basically, just as we're attacking, we can get this Maelstrom Weapon and start stacking it. Our Mastery increases our chance to trigger Stormbringer and Wind Fury by 1% and increases, basically, our damage types. Stormbringer says special attacks have a 6.1% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Storm Strike. And then we have I think Storm Fury, that's not a replacement. So basically, we throw out our like Flame Shock. We have Lava Lash, which deals damage, and the damage is increased if our offhand weapon has Flame Tongue weapon, which it should. And then we have Storm Strike as sort of our bread and butter. This does 1,500 damage, has a 7-second cooldown, but hopefully we're resetting that cooldown a bunch through Stormbringer. And outside of that, we can Lightning Bolt and do all of our other shenanigans here. So, we haven't done anything with the talents. So let's take a look at how this works out. Now, Lava Lash does not cost anything. Most of the stuff is being controlled by cooldowns. So if we Flame Shock, we can like do a couple Lightning Bolts before they get here. Right? And then we want to Storm Strike and then Lava Lash. And Storm Strike. So Storm Strike. And then honestly, it feels like you just kind of want to spam whatever other abilities you have to try to reset the cooldown on Storm Strike. And when you get these resets, it feels pretty good, but you gotta get the resets. And if you don't get the resets, it feels pretty bad. And you also run into these situations where it feels like you don't have a button to push. So like right here, I could have done Lightning Bolt. But like I said, if I don't get the procs, it doesn't feel great. All right, so like Storm Strike, no proc, no proc. But we're still doing big chunky damage. It just feels a little bit weird. And where's my heal at? So, I guess the issue there is that I'm literally just spamming abilities. So the question is, what are the best abilities to spam? So, we're hitting Lava Lash, we're hitting Storm Strike. Now I wonder if we, like, Storm Strike, Flame Strike, Lava Lash, Lightning Bolt, Storm Strike, Lightning Bolt. Yeah, that's still pretty chunky. Let's go over here. So we're hitting Lava Lash, we're hitting Storm Strike. If we go over here, we have, what do we have available? Flame Shock, Frost Shock, Lightning Bolt. So, yeah, maybe it's what I thought it was, which is we want to fill with, like, Frost Shock instead. Let's try this out. Chalupa. Chalupas are good. So are gorditas. Alright, so let's try this. Let's try Storm Strike into Flame Shock into Lava Lash. Yeah, so on, it's not like this on Elemental, but basically the shocks on here share a cooldown. So like if I Flame Shock here, then the Frost Shock goes on cooldown. This rotation feels okay, but I'm taking a lot of damage. Yeah, so like right here, am I just filling with Lightning Bolt? Feels a lot better than it did in my deep dive video. So let's see what we can change up with talents, and maybe that'll make the difference. So right now we have Lashing Flames. Lava Lash now deals the damage of Flame Shock, increases the damage of Flame Shock on its target by 100%. We got Forceful Winds. Wind Fury causes each successive Wind Fury attack within 15 seconds to increase the damage of Wind Fury by 50%, stacking up to 5 times. And then we have Elemental Blast. So this is a 1.9 second cooldown again. Or not cooldown, but cast time. Really? Maybe we just open with that instead of like Lightning Bolt? 25, we got Storm Fury. Each time Wind Fury weapon activates, the cooldown of Storm Strikes reduced by 1 second. We've got Hot Hand and melee auto attacks with Flame Tongue weapon have a 5% chance to reduce the cooldown of Lava Lash by 75% and increase the damage of Lava Lash by 100% for 8 seconds. 5% chance is super low, but we have a lot of melee auto attacks with Flame Tongue weapon. And we got Totem Mastery. 30, we got the usual. 35, Storm Strike now resets the cooldown of your shock spells. Hailstorm, each stack of Maelstrom weapon consumed increases the damage of your next Frost Shock by 35% and causes your next Frost Shock to hit 1 additional target per Maelstrom stack consumed. And we have Fiery Nova, which I read and it's like, kind of whatever. Feral Lunge, which I actually do like to take. 45, we have Crashing Storm, which leaves an electrical field when you crash lightning. We've got Stormkeeper. And then we have Sundering. I usually like Sundering. And then 50, we've got Elemental Spirits, Earthen Spike, and Ascendance. So this summons an Earthen Spike under an enemy, dealing damage and increasing physical and nature damage you deal to them by 10%. Okay, let's make a couple of changes, a couple of tweaks here. So let's grab Earthen Spike, Sundering, Feral Lunge. Let's keep Cycle of the Elements. Let's see. Let's grab Hot Hand. And let's try Forceful Winds. So the idea here is that we are basically going to cast our stuff like normal. We're going to throw in a Earthen Spike initially to increase physical and nature damage we deal. And then we're going to hope that our melee stuff reduces the cooldown of Lava Lash and increases the damage. We're also going to hope that our Wind Fury stuff keeps stacking and building up to get pretty big. I think that's about it. So let's see how this plays out. We want to drop our Wind Fury Totem. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the spikes here. And then Storm Strike. Okay, so we do want to cast... Holy balls, what the heck just happened? All right, so we do want to cast a shock and then this, and then we can go into another shock, and then basically Lightning Bolt, Earthen Spike, Storm Strike. Should have cast a shock before that. Okay, let's drop Wind Fury weapon. All right, so we want a Flame Shock, Storm Strike, Frost Shock, Lava Lash, cast our little higamajig there, and then we're into Lightning Bolts. Already feels better. Flame Shock, Storm Strike. Here we go. Crash Lightning, Storm Strike, Chain Lightning, Heal, Frost Shock. Let's do Flame Shock, Storm Strike, Frost Shock. Here we go. Lava Lash. Boom. Not bad. Why do I feel like I'm taking so much damage? Oh, we just got a proc for Lava Lash. Or whatever it's called. Yeah, Lava Lash. That's not good. I should have used that for the heal. Yeah, we're using that in the heal for sure. I'm just gonna keep going. Keep pushing. Hopefully we get a proc for a heal. Not bad. I feel like there's something that I can change up here in the talents, though, potentially. So, what is it? What is it that's bothering? There's something that's bothering me. Oh, what is it? What's bothering me? Lava Lash. We had another way to boost Lava Lash, which was Lashing Flames. This, nope, this increases the damage of Flame Shock on a target by 100%. Oh, Hailstorm. I think maybe Hailstorm. I don't know. Then we don't get to cycle into... Like, right now we can do Flame Shock, Storm Strike, Frost Shock, Lava Lash, because Storm Strike is resetting the cooldown of our shocks. If we get Hailstorm, it gets rid of that, but it makes it so that our Frost Shock will potentially just hit harder. So we open with Flame, we go Storm Strike, we go Lava Lash, we just consume stuff, and we can kind of execute with Frost Shock, I think. Like, let's try it out. Also, I didn't use Sundering at all, but that's okay. So I just want to try just this change here, I think. Yeah, let's try just this one. So the whole idea is we let Frost Shock build up. So we Flame Strike, Storm Strike, Lava Lash. Go ahead and chunk that out there. We got 3 stacks of Hailstorm. So that's going to be a big Frost Shock. 2,800. That is not bad at all. Wow, all the procs. What is this going to hit for? 175%. I didn't proc. That's unfortunate. This feels way better, guys. I was complaining about it quite a bit, but it feels pretty good. The only problem I'm running into here is how much damage I'm taking. Is Earth Shield worth picking up? Increases your healing on them by 10% and healing them for 635 when they take damage. 9 charges. Maybe it's worth picking that up instead of using Lightning Bolt or Lightning Shield. Let's see if this gives us a little bit more sustain. Alright, so that. I like all the flashy buttons. Poof. Nice. Come on, give me a proc. Didn't get a proc at all for the healing there. I should have recast Earth Shield too because I had run out. I'm spending so much time on this because, like, I still am hopeful for Enhancement Shaman. It feels good. I just feel like I'm taking so much damage. Yeah, I'll have to look into it some more. Do we have any of the legendaries sound interesting? Each time Flame Shock deals periodic damage, increase the damage of your next Lava Lash by 10% and reduce the cooldown of Lava Lash by 0.5 seconds. So we could Lava Lash way more. Dropping Wind Fury Totem grants you a 100% increased chance to gain Wind Fury weapon for 8 seconds. This can only occur once every minute. Which, okay. Increase the chance to gain a stack of Maelstrom by 5%. Whenever you gain a stack, the cooldown of Feral Spirits is reduced. And then consuming 5 stacks of Maelstrom weapon will reset the cooldown of Storm Strike and cause your next Storm Strike to deal 100% increased damage. Let's try this Flame Shock one. So what's the deal? Flame Shock increases the damage of your next Lava Lash and reduces the cooldown. Which is probably insane if you can multi-dot stuff. That's a lot of procs on that, but man, the cooldown doesn't go down fast enough. I don't think I like it. Oh, let's try this one. This increases our chance to get a stack of Maelstrom weapon, which is what we are like using for our Frost Shock here. Wow, what's going on? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I know I have Healing Stream Totem somewhere. More importantly, I've got Earth Elemental. Heals. Man, I still don't know. I just don't know. Like, compared to some of the other melee specs that I played, I just don't know. It feels like it has potential, but it also just feels kind of weird. Maybe it's just because I have so many options and I don't have my keybind set up that it just feels weird to play. I don't know. I still have mixed feelings about it. I gotta see what else they continue to do with it. But yeah, that's Enhancement Shaman. I think this is the ones one of the ones I'm gonna have to come back around to. I don't know. It might take a Covenant ability. It might take Conduits or Soulbinds, or just looking at the talents again and kind of messing around. But yeah, I don't know. This feels a lot better than it did originally. So when I originally was playing, it felt like I was just running out of buttons to push, and I just had this moment where I was like, ugh, what am I doing? This, on the other hand, like, for the most part, it's feeling like if I fill with lightning bolts, which doesn't feel great, but if I fill with lightning bolt, then it's not horrible. But like right there, it's like, okay, just fill with lightning bolts and go back into spamming whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of like lightning bolt filler, which I can't say that I love. Well, all right, guys, that's going to do it. That is Mage and Shaman. I still have Priest yet, but I am waiting for Priest to get a talent fixed before I actually go and test Priest. So as far as I'm concerned, these talent build sort of streams are like done. The Priest one, like I said, we'll look at Priest more in depth when that talent gets fixed. And when that stuff comes back around, like, we're going to be testing and testing and testing and testing as much as possible. So if you are looking for a class that isn't Priest, and you want this kind of like deep, I say deep dive, but you want this kind of like talent build analysis, open world sort of stuff, it's up on the channel. Just check the build testing videos. If you want like a general overview of the different classes where I talk about them more specifically, like the changes and the different spells and all that kind of stuff, check out the deep dives. Otherwise, I think the next thing that we're going to be doing is taking some of these classes into Torghast and maybe doing like 5 floors a piece and just kind of seeing how they feel. And for that, I don't think I want to go do 5 floors times 36 specializations. So I'll probably just pick the specialization that I'm the most interested in per class and try that out in Torghast and give it a look. And that'll still be 60 floors of Torghast, which is quite a bit, but it'll be the first 5. It'll give us a chance to look at some anima powers and just kind of get a general feel for what's going on with the class. So I think that's what I want to do next. They're still working on the soulbind and conduit system, so I don't want to dive too deep into that yet. And also it requires doing a lot of questing to get access to, and I don't really want to do that across 12 classes at the moment, because they may implement a system that makes it easier to test that stuff within the coming weeks, and I want to give them the opportunity to do that so that I don't have to go do a bunch of quests on 12 different classes. So I'm going to update the class rankings after this and kind of put them where I think they're going to be now. So feel free to check that out if you want. Don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed it. If you've had fun checking out these classes with me and you want to see more beta testing videos, definitely throw a like on there. If you're new to the channel and you like these sort of kind of deep testing experimentation videos or guides or anything like that, hit the subscribe button. And if you're trying to get notifications for all my streams and videos, make sure you also ring the little bell next to the subscribe button, because that is probably why you're not getting my notifications. Check the link in the description below for the Discord Discord server, where you can hop in and hang out with us. And for those of you who are interested in trying to figure out what's going on with the guilds that I'm going to make, like I said, only thing that's been holding me up is coming up with a name, but I'm going to have all that stuff sorted out and information posted on the Discord by this Sunday, so 2 or 3 days from now. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next stream. Hope you're having fun in whatever it is that you're doing, and we'll be back for more beta testing maybe tomorrow. If not tomorrow, probably Saturday. So, well, I guess technically in some places, including here right now, it is Friday, so tomorrow would be Saturday, but maybe not today. I gotta work pretty late, but possibly Saturday. So, all right, you guys have a good night. Thanks for tuning in for the second stream. Like I said, sorry for the issues with the previous one, but the VOD is perfectly fine. So jump in there and check it out if you want to look at the end of the Demon Hunter analysis, which was pretty fun. So, all right, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next stream.